Hey, good to see you. Welcome back to the Bruce Collins Show. Our guest today is Mike Arnold, who's the author of the book Epicenter. Let's get started.
Flip on the switch, feel the static clear, naming the glow, yeah, the reason we're here. From the edge of the map to your kitchen chair, he's talking wild truth like he owns the air. Out past the highway, out past the mall, where the sand keeps secrets, you can hear that call. It's the Bruce Collins Show. The buried up broadcasting, taking control from the desert wind to your radio. We're the loyal knights of the wobbly table, laughing loud, keeping legends stable. Yeah, the Bruce Collins Show. Funeral rides high over dust and stone, stories like sparks in a cyclone. Strange little kingdom made of coffee and chords, where the late night callers become the lords. Crowns made of stickers, capes made of flannel, we pledge our oaths to the glowing panel. It's the Bruce Collins Show. The buried up broadcasting, stealing the glow from the desert wind to your radio. We're the loyal knights of the wobbly table, raising mugs, making myths and fables. Yeah, the Bruce Collins Show.
Welcome back to the Bruce Collins Show. I'm Bruce Collins, the Baron of Broadcasting. My co-host is Chad the Odometer Miles. Our guest tonight is Mike Arnold, the author of Epicenter, which answers the question, why is Nigeria important to the United States? If you want to join the Bruce Collins Show community, you're free to join our page on Facebook. And also, we always appreciate it when you like our videos and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. I also have another YouTube channel called Bruce Collins Reacts and Stuff that you may also enjoy. And now on with the show, allow me to introduce my co-host, Chad Miles, and also Christopher Cartwright. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Bruce.
Hello.
Hey, the studio looks different tonight.
Oh, yeah? Are your eyes open?
Oh, thanks. That helped a lot.
Hey, Bruce, did you eat dinner?
Yeah, why?
Did it taste like dog food?
I don't think that's very funny.
Sure seemed funny last week.
Hey, did you get invited to the secret alien meeting?
No, I'm skeptical that it really happened the way it was described.
Oh, it happened.
Did you attend, Bruce?
I sure did. They had cookies and Kool-Aid and a lot of balloons.
And this was that secret alien meeting?
I don't know about secret. There were a lot of people there.
And you were there?
Yes, the Democratic leaders were there also.
Democratic leaders.
Sure, they were trying to get us to sign up for citizenship.
That doesn't sound right.
I think you were in the wrong alien meeting.
Well, I'm not sure.
What do you mean you're not sure?
Nobody spoke English.
Yeah, that's a different alien, I think.
Hey, Chad, what are you waiting for?
For this show to end?
The dumbest news of the week.
Coffee stain on his collar, name tag hanging wrong, sleep in both of his eyes, red light flashing strong. He shuffles up to the camera, cracked mug, crooked tie, says, I've seen some stupid stories, but this one made me cry. Oh man, it's the Chad Miles Report headlines, the dumbest news of the week. From Florida man fights lawnmower to influx with concrete. We tune in for the train wreck. We can't stop. We lean into read. Yeah. sweet. Breaking cats stuck in a sweater, breaking toast that looks like a face. Council meets about a pigeon who keeps pooping on the mayor's briefcase. He's deadpan reading disaster, that's really just a broken cone. Nation shocked, he says then snickers by a kid who married his phone. It's the Chad Miles Report. Headlines, the dumbest news of the week. Grandma banned from local bingo for allegedly counting too quick. We tune in for the train wreck. We act appalled while trying not to scream. Yeah, the Chad Miles Report. Serving the dumbest news.
Well, you heard the music, and no, it was not Engelbert Humperdinck, whatever his name is. It's the time for the Chad Miles Report. Chad, take it away.
Article number 1. Over the last year, 13 people have been killed by bears in Japan, with an additional 50,000 sightings recorded. The bears roamed near schools and broke into homes, supermarkets, and resorts. Now, Japanese company Ohara Seiki has come up with a unique solution to the country's bear problem: robot wolves. That sounds awesome. Yahoo News reported on May 13th that orders for the animatronic monster wolf are up by so much that the waiting list is a few months long. We make them by hand, company president Yuji Oda said. We cannot make them fast enough now. We are asking our customers to wait 2 to 3 months. The wolves are made of pipe frames attached to speakers and covered with artificial fur. They can
Sounds
take-
realistic.
I bet it's epic.
I still
They-
want one.
Me too.
Probably get them on Temu.
They can make up to 50 different sounds, including recorded human voices and electronic noises, and their eyes and tails flash with red and blue LEDs. Orders have come mainly from people who work in rural areas, such as farmers, construction workers, and golf course operators. The wolf apparatus starts at $4,000.
Wow, that's
from
weird.
Yahoo News.
And they in that article you read it, they say that the robot wolves even have recorded human voices.
Yes.
Can you imagine the bear hearing from Sammy Davis Jr.? Hey man, get rid of that. Stop trying to eat that human.
Get out of here,
away.
you crazy mug.
Get away from me.
And did you notice they didn't say that the robot wolves actually stopped the bears from eating humans? They
I
should
didn't
just
know
make
there were bears in Japan. Maybe I look stupid now.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, that's a
And
thing.
13 people have been killed in a year?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They should
Japan's
just
not that
make
big.
They should just make robots that taste like humans.
This just sounds like the beginning of a new cryptid.
Article number 2.
Speaking of bears,
Meanwhile, in Tennessee, Gatlinburg police were called upon to free a black bear that had locked itself in a bathroom at a downtown Quality Inn and Suites, Fox News reported on May 11th.
it paid for 2 nights.
In the wee hours of the morning on Friday,
Not
May
the
8th.
wee hours.
The wee hours. A hotel employee called for help because they had observed a bear enter an exterior bathroom and lock itself inside, according to the police report.
When you got to go, you got to go.
That's right.
Wee hours. When police
There were
arrived
people
on
in the room
scene,
and it said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I use your restroom?" No.
Pardon.
Yeah. We
and
need
then
to poo.
the robot
We
wolf
need
said,
to
"Get
poo,
out of here, you
literally."
bear!" When
We
police
need to
arrived on
poo-poo.
When police arrived on the scene, one officer carefully opened the bathroom door while the other beat sticks together to draw the bear out. I actually did see this video, and these guys are scared witless, the cops.
I would
Like,
be.
Yeah.
They're totally terrified.
You're ringing the dinner bell.
We don't have an electronic wolf. We'll have to do this
Yeah,
by
you need a
hand.
robot wolf.
In the end, the bear ambled out, seemingly unbothered, leaving behind only minor property damage to the tune of $50.
seemingly relieved. That black bear had to go bad.
There's
But
a
I
lot of
have to give it credit. It locked the door.
there's a lot of black bear problems in Gatlinburg.
Right.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. They're on the roofs sometimes, and they have to get them
Wow.
down. Oh yeah, they just walk through the streets.
So you're saying you're not only a turtle expert, you're a bear expert. Wow.
Turtles, bears, wolves, bats.
Well,
Yeah.
article
By the way,
number
you know what? I have a question for you guys. If a bear was chasing you, would you try to go in that hotel room and hide?
The one that it went in and locked the door.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Yes.
seems like a kind of a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park where they can open the doors type situation.
Chad said yes. So, Chad, you're saying you would run into the hotel with a bear behind?
Wah, wah, wah. To my embarrassment. Article number 3. Casey Clausen, age 28, was arrested in
Is that the same
New-
name as the pickle?
Clausen.
Clausen?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
She
was
was in a
arrested
pickle.
in New York for endangering the welfare of a child, trespassing, and criminal impersonation, Oddity Central reported on May the 8th. Her crime? Impersonating a 16-year-old and enrolling in Westchester Square Academy in the Bronx. Clausen, who went by the name Shamara Rashad,
One of
and
Omar
attended-
Ilhan's sisters.
she was trying to keep a low profile with that name, and attended classes for 2 weeks before she was caught.
Her
Recently
first
moved
name
to
was
New York.
I'm a fake.
I'm
And then she changed it.
She had recently moved from New York to New York from Ohio.
Wow.
Acting on a friend's suggestion, Clausen donned a teenage persona in hopes of qualifying for more social assistance.
Of course.
Her disguise was uncovered when school officials found her social media profiles, which showed her holding a baby that she referred to as her daughter and listed Clausen's birth year as 1997. Clausen was arrested and released and is pleading not guilty to all charges.
Jeez.
What's the defense?
She's expected back in court on June 15th.
I know what the defense is. I'm dumber than a teenager.
But I identify as a teenager.
That's right.
You know, she's got
Wow.
a secret weapon. She'll bring an electronic wolf to court.
Yeah. Why do I get the feeling that Mom Donnie might come to her defense?
Shamara Rashad didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong.
That's right.
That was a Mom Downey impersonation. I don't know what he sounds like. I don't know if that's close or not.
It was close.
Close enough. Article number 4. Two grown women are facing federal charges after getting into a slap fight while on a Carnival cruise in March, Fox 10 reported on May 13th. During their
Man.
return voyage from the Bahamas, Tanya Nelson, age 58,
Yeah,
and
not
Lisa
kids.
Horace, age 51, were in line to settle their cruise accounts. Nelson told investigators that she was trying to be helpful when she suggested to Horace and Horace's husband that they were in the wrong line.
Well, I
According-
thought it was a gay thing, Horace's husband. But
Horace-
that's the lady's last name.
No, they're both ladies. According to Horace's statement, she ignored Nelson, but took action after Nelson kept touching Horace's husband's shoulder. Horace said that
What-
Nelson threatened to
I wonder if
slap
alcohol was involved.
her. You think? Highly likely. Horace said that Nelson threatened to slap her, so she slapped Nelson back. Wait a
I'm
minute.
going to slap you.
That doesn't work.
Don't telegraph your moves. We learned that in wrestling.
How
I'm
did
going to slap you.
she slapped her back? Wait, am I missing
I'm gonna
something
slap
here?
you. Ow. I didn't do it yet.
Yeah. Horace
The
said that Nelson threatened to slap her, so she slapped Nelson back. Well, back. Yeah, that would
that doesn't
suggest
make
Doesn't work at all.
The fight escalated from there, with crew members stepping in to separate the two.
And then everybody was slapping everybody.
Everybody was kung fu slapping.
Like the Three Stooges.
The women, who did not know each other before the encounter, were issued federal citations for simple assault. The women report that they both have been banned from Carnival cruises
Imagine that.
and have lost their diamond member status.
And now they're the best of friends.
Yeah.
Things happen sometimes on a crowded ship. Buzz Jordan, Nelson's
Buzz
attorney,
Jordan.
said,
Buzz Jordan
not a-
sounded like
Buzz
buzzed
Jordan.
Horace and buzzed Nelson. I've heard of cruises that are knee slapping fun, but this goes too far.
"Get out of here, you fool."
Yeah.
Article number 5. Minor league baseball team, the Charlotte Knights, had an unusual celebrity lend
There's
their
a video
pipes
for this one, too.
for the national anthem in a recent game. Fox News reported on May 8th. A May 1st Instagram post from the team shared a clip of fast food chain mascot Ronald McDonald singing the Star-Spangled Banner. The beloved clown also threw the ceremonial first pitch before a Philadelphia Phillies home game against the Texas Rangers on March 28th.
You know, not to be too controversial, but I would say about 30 to 40 years ago, people would have been upset because this is kind of disrespectful to the national anthem that somebody would show up wearing a Ronald McDonald clown outfit.
Yeah.
I think. Don't you
Remember-
guys? Don't does
Well,
does that
remember
sit
when
well?
Roseanne Barr
Yes.
sang the
terrible.
national
I was there.
anthem? And
I was
She-
there.
oh,
no
were you really?
way.
Yeah, I was. I
Was
was,
Was
there.
that in
everybody
San
booing?
Diego?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
Wow.
crazy.
that was a big controversy at the time.
I hate baseball, but that's one of my
Yeah.
fondest memories.
Padres game?
Oh no, the Roseanne thing. I couldn't care about.
No,
less
I
about
mean
the game.
it was a Padres game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big deal. People
Oh,
were
yeah.
really upset about that.
I have a hard time with I mean I don't consider myself a hero in any a patriotic hero in any fashion, but it doesn't sit well with me that they would have Ronald McDonald come out and sing the national anthem.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
weird.
think anybody cares anymore.
I know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sad to say,
Yeah,
or
and
very few people.
And another sad thing was, unfortunately, while Ronald was the center of attention, the Hamburglar stole the gate receipts.
Mayor McCheese at a press conference.
Yeah. That's crazy. And
That
all I
is
thought
crazy.
McDonald's was good for was lousy hamburgers.
Who knew?
Christopher and Chad, thank you so much for being here with me this week. And I will see you soon. We will all see you soon. And maybe you guys will see me soon, too. That's kind of
Maybe.
how that
I hope
works.
so.
Up next is our guest, Mike Arnold, and with his book, Epicenter, in a moment. Our guest today is Mike Arnold. Mike Arnold is a former small-town mayor, serial entrepreneur, and founder of Africa Arise International. His new book is Epicenter, Nigeria, Radical Islam, and the War for Global Order. You can find out more information about Mike Arnold at mikearnold.org. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you a cover of the book. Again, it's Epicenter, Nigeria, Radical Islam, and the War for Global Order by Mike Arnold. Mike Arnold, welcome to the Bruce Collins Show.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, Mike, before we get into your book, can you tell us what people can find at your website, mikearnold.org?
Okay. Well, lately I've been doing a lot of investigative reporting on the Nigerian situation. So I have a blog there, a lot of bombshells there. They tend to make headlines, at least in Nigeria. I have several books I've written, including this one. Also, my organization, nonprofit organization, we build and run schools in the camps for displaced Nigerian children, and currently have over 600 full-time students that we're rescuing from the cycle of death. They show up at our schools wanting to get guns and go back and kill after seeing their villages burned and their parents hacked to death. But they get education, they want to go back and rebuild. So we're doing our best to intervene there. So you can find all that and more at mikearnold.org.
How did you first become involved with Nigeria?
Sort of got tricked into going. In 2010, I couldn't place Nigeria on a map. Most Americans can't. You don't know the difference between Nigeria and Swaziland, just an African country. I've since been 16 times, but in 2010, a friend of mine was invited to keynote an international leadership conference, 20th annual, and invited me to go along with him. He didn't want to be the only white guy going. And I signed up and it's a lot of work, especially back then, getting the visas and all that stuff. And a week before we were set to go, my friend had a project funded that he needed to stay and finish. And he decided not to go. And I said, well, what are they going to do? He said, I told them that you could take my place. I had never done such a thing, but I ended up keynoting this leadership conference, and they invited me back, first time in 20 years. They invited me back to do it again the next year, and ended up really falling in love with the place.
Now, as you chronicle in your book, again, it's Epicenter, Nigeria, Radical Islam, and the War for Global Order. The Nigerians call you the Earth Shaker. Why is that?
Well, so in 2019 was my 10th trip, and I stumbled into this camp for displaced people in the middle of their capital, Abuja. Nothing could prepare me for that. It's just a hellhole. Is this people just surviving with nothing? The government denies they exist. Sewage ditches and hand-built shanties, mostly widows and orphans. And I promised them I'd tell their story, and I've been back 6 more times. Very dangerous. Level 4, do not travel more than once, which is combat zone level warning from the State Department. Investigating and trying to figure out, get to the bottom of this whole genocide, trying to raise awareness, and no one was paying attention. Along the way, I met a lot of very important people, presidents, kings, etc. Well, it was in October of this past year, right after Bill Maher and Ted Cruz started talking about the Nigerian Christian genocide. All of a sudden, people are talking about it. Nigerian government starts to panic. I don't know why they called me, but I got a call from the National Security Advisor of Nigeria and another fellow who's now an ambassador of Nigeria. They called me and said, oh, please come help. Please come help. And what they spelled out, I could tell between the lines, they wanted me to be the Jane Fonda of Nigeria. He's an American who's been on the ground, and he's, they set up a stooge tour, the North Korea style. And wanted to have a press conference, international press conference, where I told everybody everything's okay. I agreed to do it. I agreed to go. I didn't agree to follow their script. I was very careful about that. I never misled anybody. But I was advised by several very top people that there was a good chance they were going to kill me if I did what I was planning to do. So I updated my will. I had a farewell dinner with my family, and a week after they called me on the 5th, on the 12th, I was on an airplane flying to Nigeria. And it was a very quick whirlwind stooge tour. I was stuck in a room with 3 terror-connected northern imams for a photo op and a few other things. And the next day, the 14th of October, international press conference. They introduced me with all the fanfare, and I told the truth. I indicted them for genocide because they're guilty. That very same day, the Nigerian Senate convened an emergency meeting to address what I had said. And the people in Washington say, well, what happened within 72 hours, it got more than 3 billion global impressions. And it flipped the global narrative from 80% denial to 70% affirmation of Nigerian genocide. And people in Washington say that's why Trump got involved. Not me, by name, but because of that narrative flip from that press conference. The person that's now an ambassador, that is an influencer. I call him the shambassador, but he always called himself the table shaker. And so I guess it was just natural after I crushed that guy's world by speaking the truth. They started calling me the Earth Shaker. I'm now the most famous and influential American in Nigeria. I've got 250,000 followers, and my posts become headlines, and it's crazy. So that's why they call them. I got in a cab in D.C. in December, and I've been unknown. I'm a behind the scenes guy. In December, I got in a cab in Washington D.C., and the cab driver looked in the rearview mirror and said, "You're the Earth Shaker."
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy.
So tell us about Nigeria in terms of its size, the economy, as well as their natural resources.
Absolutely. Nigeria is the most important country on earth that most Americans know nothing about. It is presently the sixth largest nation on earth, on track by 2050 to be the third largest nation on earth. It has one of the top 5 members of OPEC, so it's a major oil producing exporting country. About $1 trillion, $1,000 billion in strategic minerals, the ones that are in your phone and your electric car. And it's also a cultural powerhouse. Their movie industry, they call it Nollywood, makes more films a year than Hollywood. You've watched Nigerian films on Netflix and such, and you don't even know it. And their music dominates the streaming chart. Wherever they go on earth, United States, they call it the diaspora, the Nigerian diaspora here. It's the most educated group in America, and it's among the wealthiest in America. And they do it constructively, not by taking, but by assimilating and rising to the top. They're amazing, amazing, amazing people with so much potential. And but the nation is teetering on the edge. It's gonna be it's influential. It's gonna be significantly more influential in the future, and it'll either be an influence for good, or it'll be the largest Sharia jihad exporting nation on earth, and that's being decided right now.
And so, what is the breakdown between Islamic and Christian in Nigeria?
Well, the published numbers say it's about 50-50. That's highly disputed. They've never had an honest election or census there. It is, by all intents and purposes, majority Christian, but it is structured on purpose. The British, when they were assigned this portion of Africa to loot and extract from, but when Europe just divided it up like a pie, they found a caliphate, the largest pre-colonial empire in Africa, a jihad Sharia caliphate in the north, and the vibrant entrepreneurial, they became Christian, English-speaking, friendly south. And the British merged the two together in 1914. The administrator's girlfriend named it Nigeria. It's not a popularly, by the consent of the people kind of thing. They married these two together. They shackled them together, and they intentionally gave control to the Northern Caliphate. They kept it intact as their enforcers, and they gave it control. The constitution that they have today was written and implemented by a Northern general dictator, Islamic extremist. Their current constitution has Sharia and Islamic terms 165 times and not one reference to Christianity. It is an Islamic state that's very poorly disguised as a secular democracy.
As I learned in your book, Epicenter, let me show that properly. How you talk about China making inroads in Africa, particularly Nigeria. How is that being done, and is the United States far behind?
The United States is very far behind, and you've seen this around the world, and unfortunately, it's by design of our complicit prior administrations. But China. So I was actually this was in 2024. I was actually in the living room, private meeting with the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. He was the accidental Christian president in 2010 when Obama unleashed all this hell to get him out of office. But at that time, it was the only nation on earth where radicalism was being pushed back. But anyway, Goodluck Jonathan leans in and says, look into the minerals. And sure enough, and he called it blood minerals. There's an actual there's an organization that Nigeria is in international. They have to report their mineral situation, and it's audited. And in that report, they say that at least $9 billion a year of minerals is looted illegally from the north, and a good chunk of that, it's documented, it goes to China, but it is goes to fund jihad and it goes to fund corruption. The generals people wonder why the military always seems all Keystone cops. The generals are paid off, not all of them, some of them are, and the politicians are. This river of blood money just flows through it, and that's largely what's driving. Enabling the jihad. The Chinese, you drive around their capital of Abuja and you see little service boxes provided by this, the communist, CCP. They've saddled up to and played nice to the politicians while they rape the land and fund the jihad.
Wow. So we know about genocide in the West, at least Christians do, because I get emails from ministries, and I've supported ministries that have tried to do things there. At least I'm taking that by faith that they're doing something there. At this point, is Nigeria, the government, doing anything to stop the genocide of Christians?
The Nigerian government is part and parcel with the caliphate in the north. The Nigerian government is fully complicit. They have the ability to at least put a serious dent in it. They have the ability to stop it. Again, when they had a Christian president in 2010 up to 2015, it was the only nation on earth where radical Islam was being pushed back. There wasn't mass displacement. There wasn't all these slaughters. The Nigerian government is intentional and specific in enabling this. The National Security Advisor, the guy who called me to try to cover it up, he's documented for arming these Fulani militia groups that do the killing. He called them our brothers. The defense chief recently appointed by the president called them prodigal sons and who deserve rehabilitation. These are the most brutal, animalistic, bloodthirsty, horrendous, satanic savages you've ever seen. When you see videos of boys being goaded on by their overlords to cut the throats of girls that are on the ground, when you see them having a blood fest of mass beheadings with dull axes as the crowd cheers, they're holding up the heads. It's horrific, and they call them brothers and sons. This government does. This government, even if they wanted to try to do something about it, the North has such a stranglehold on the power because of the gerrymandered Constitution, and it's in the tank for the North. There is no way this government. What I tell people, and I said it in Washington just the other day at a congressional briefing. Working with this government to stop this genocide is working with the Third Reich to stop the Holocaust. It's a non-starter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, so under the worst of terms, Islam takes over the entire country, and unfortunately, more and more Christians are slaughtered. And as you record in your book, the outcome is that General Langley, for one, said that the gravest threat to the U.S. homeland in terms of terrorism are right here in the African continent. We often in the West think of the Middle East. What do you see as happening in Nigeria if General Langley is correct?
Well, so, rats and cockroaches don't like the daylight. And, there's a lot of tension on the Middle East. When Trump bombed ISIS out of the Middle East, they relocated. Northern Nigeria, this domain of this caliphate, is now the headquarters for ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all these groups, because they've been operating there with impunity. They've been operating there with cover and protection, and nobody's been paying attention, so they can do what they do. But Langley said it's this region anchored by northern Nigeria is the epicenter of global terror today. My book, I wrote it in January. Since then, just recently, the shooter in Old Dominion, that went into the ROTC classroom and asked them twice, "Is this the ROTC?" And they said yes. Then he starts yelling Allahu Akbar and killing people. That guy was radicalized in Nigeria. Their stated intention, when you look at their recruitment videos and such, is the Nigerian flag goes down, the U.S. flag goes down, the European and Israel flags go down, and the black flag of jihad goes up. The Muhammadu Buhari, the prior president, the guy who Obama put into office, had called for Sharia law across Nigeria and global Sharia law. they intend to use as these globalist Islamic organizations that are now deeply entrenched there. They intend to use it, and the $1 trillion in minerals in this whole growth trajectory, they intend to use it as a launch pad for global jihad. And they've already drawn blood in the United States.
That's sobering. Now, you described the threats to Nigeria as the head of Medusa. Can you touch on that?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not just the head of the snake. It is, it can be seen in a lot of ways the head of all the snakes. They are all deeply embedded there. If you're familiar with chaos theory, when things look random and you find the one spot with the perspective and it all lines up, Nigeria is that place. You stand in Nigeria, strange attractor. You stand there and everything starts to make sense. The Islamists are deeply embedded and overextended there. And it's an interesting microcosm because in the north, it's Sharia. In the south, they still maintain this illusion of secular democracy. And you'll see them literally talking, same guy, go to the north. Oh, our brothers and sons rehabilitation. In the south, they talk about getting tough on ending the violence. That you can see their game and how the Islamists play when they're not in total control. The Quran tells them to lie and to act like the victims of stuff. But so it's interesting to see them try to straddle that. You have the Islamists, you have the globalists. Again, we haven't gotten deep into what Obama did there, but he handed this to them. He set this loose. He did this. There wouldn't be the bloodshed, the 125,000 Christians killed, the millions displaced if it were not for Barack Obama, period. You have also the communist China that is deeply embedded and extended there. The British, God, I never really saw them clearly until I stood in Nigeria. I don't believe there's been a greater source of evil on this earth than the British Empire in hundreds of years. I hate to see, because I have friends there, I hate to see what's happening. I hate to see Islamists take control of anything, but, Great Britain's in trouble, and they're just reaping what they've sown. The chickens are just coming home to roost. So all of that is deeply embedded and overexposed in Nigeria. They're panicking now that the light's shining. They're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars, over 10 million just from the Nigerian government, and lobbying in the United States to try to muddy the water and deflect attention. You might have heard in the news and these liberal politicians, even Trump's advisors, oh, it's farmer herder conflict, it's global warming. I've traced the origin of that. The source document for that was written by a career Sharia propagandist hired by George Soros. That's where that narrative came from. So it sort of tells you what's going on there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I may mispronounce this dear lady's name, but in your book, you talk about Miss Hanatu.
Miss Hanatu.
Okay, Hanatu. Tell us about her.
So again, in 2019, my 10th trip there, I did not know what was all going on. I had had little encounters. I was in Abuja, the capital, in 2011 when they blew up the UN headquarters there. And you hear news reports, but it was always seemed, because of the cover up, because of the spin, and I wasn't digging into it. It was just like these little isolated incidents. And in 2019, we were supposed to be somewhere else. We had a big event set up. Won't get into the long story of it, but I have no other way to say it. It was a Holy Spirit detour. I mean, we just ended up right off this very nice new main highway from Abuja to the airport, middle of town, a couple hundred yards up a dirt trail, and there is this hellhole. I mean, it is sewage ditches, hand-built shanties, mass of humanity. Nothing could prepare you for seeing that. They're just bare survival. And I've been there many times now. We have school there now. And I say it's the ugliest place on earth, but it's also the most beautiful place on earth at the same time because of the character of these people. And go in there, and these kids come running up. They're so excited to see you, and we work our way through the kids, and it was not preordained, pre-scheduled or planned, but we end up in front of this shanty, and there's a woman standing there grinding some corn. Ends up, her name's Miss Hanatu. She was a teacher in the north, 3 daughters. And when Boko Haram came to their community of Ingoshe and first started killing the men, she said when they found out that the women were taking food to the surviving men in the mountains, they started killing, raping, selling into slavery the women and children as well. They burned all the churches, burned all the schools. And when I say killing, it's horrific. Killed like goats, hung upside down with fire lit under their head, dumped in the wells. So there's kids drinking water with blood in it, and so they finally she gets her daughters and several other women and youth, and barefoot to make no noise, traveling only at night. They trek and trek and trek and trek and trek for days into Cameroon. They're pursued by Boko Haram. A nursing mother with two children, with a 2-month-old child, is shot and killed. A baby is struck and killed by a snake. I mean, horrible. And it just goes on and on and on. And they end up in Abuja, 500 miles away, in this camp. And when she walked into camp, first of all, when they drove into Abuja, she said, to her daughters, "We're going to be okay." She thought they made it to heaven. They're black glass buildings and fancy cars and lights and pavement. And they turned down that dirt track and go to that camp. She said her heart sank where they were told to stay, this hellhole. She asked where she could stay with her daughters. Said, "Oh, you have to build your own." And she had to go and drag branches and feed bags and build a structure. But she said she went into camp, and those same kids that ran up to us ran up to her yelling, "Teacher is here, teacher is here."
Wow.
And so she sat down after she built a shanty. She sat down under a tree and started teaching the kids. She said with that, they'll have strength of character. They'll have hope, and they'll have a path out of here. The radicals recruit from the displaced, from the disaffected. And in fact, the Boko Haram literally means Western education is forbidden. That's the name of the group. And so she knows to fight back. You teach these kids. That's how you stop the cycle of death. And so I promised her I would tell her story, and I promised her that I would help teach the kids. And now she's head teacher. We have 4 schools, over 600 children. And it works. They show up wanting to get guns and go back and kill, but they leave wanting to go back and rebuild. And so she was right all along. The education is the key, and these children are the battleground. And so, yeah, I've been back 6 times, very dangerous, producing a documentary film, and it's called Me and Miss Hannatu. It's really her story. But I've realized to understand it, people have to see it through Western eyes. And so, I'm included as the storyteller, but it's all about her.
So, speaking clearly about terrorism from Islamic regimes means facing censorship or worse from political correctness, even here in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Miss Hannatu is our example of how we can reverse the narrative, isn't she?
Absolutely. And it's just so many things. Simple courage. Um, she had told her story to other visitors before, and she said, "Well, I guess I'll tell it again." When she told it to me, it finally clicked, I guess. But courage and persistent, also knowing her calling and her identity. When those kids ran up to her and said, "Teacher is here," I have to. It makes me look at myself. If this happened in my community, and I were to show up at the camp, and I walk into camp, what would the people say? Would they say, "There's that guy," or would they say, "Oh," Would they be excited to see me like they were for her? They knew what her identity is, and her sticking with it at all personal cost, unimaginable cost. She has dedicated her life to teaching these children because she sees it as the only way they're going to get out of there. Year or so ago, she was actually offered a teaching job, a government teaching job that would have taken her out of camp. And she said, "I can't go while these kids are here." And she stays in camp because that's her calling. If more people were like her, this world would be a much better place. An amazing human being.
Today we're speaking with Mike Arnold. He's the author of Epicenter, Nigeria, Radical Islam, and the War for Global Order. Again, Mike Arnold. And you can find out more information about Mike Arnold at mikearnold.org. Now, Mike, you have a chapter on the Christian Spring. What is the Christian Spring?
Well, I termed it that, and it is more of my, and maybe it's hopeful, but reading the tea leaves, whether you like Donald Trump's, all of his policies or not, the fact is, around the world, he's the best friend in political office that Christians around the world have had, maybe ever. at least in modern times. A large part of it, again, you stand in Nigeria, you see things clearly. You ask any Nigerian, and they'll say Barack Obama is the devil. No human being did more evil on this earth. He unleashed hell there, literally and intentionally unleashed hell there, to get a radical Muslim into office, and that's evident and it's provable. Again, they thought nobody was ever going to pay attention to Nigeria, and Trump is working to undo so much. And if you look at the pattern of his actions, Obama had his Arab Spring where he handed off much of the world to radical Muslims. Trump's undoing that, and he's defending, protecting, promoting the Christian faith. And I believe that we're seeing what I call a Christian Spring, the counterpoint, the reversal of the Arab Spring. I hope that's the case. You're seeing it in Iran. You're seeing it elsewhere. Trump has 500-600 attacks on ISIS around the world that we don't even hear about, and including domestically, banning, declaring the Muslim Brotherhood, terror organization, working to stop Sharia and all that. And Nigeria is really the main place that he can do something. It's in the balance, and there's so much at stake. There's so much bloodshed there. And I believe, he's distracted by Iran right now. But even when he announced his ceasefire originally, big night, he included Nigeria in his announcement. He threw Nigeria. He didn't have to do that. I believe he's signaled that, yeah, guys, I'm going to get back to it as soon as I can. But I believe he's going to take decisive action to turn around this atrocity. And again, I've labeled it the Christian Spring. I hope that's how it pans out.
Yeah. Now, before we go, Mike, how can people support your work?
Well, thank you. I do it this way. It's mikearnold.org at nonprofit Mike Arnold Ministries. And if you go to mikearnold.org, you can find a link to my organization, Africa Arise International. We have presently 4 campuses in these displaced persons camps, serving these children. Actually, one of the schools is in a camp that's mostly populated by displaced Muslim people. So we're reaching out, we're serving, shining the light. We're helping. Recently, just the other day, a northern imam put out a bounty on the head of a Christian pastor for evangelizing in the north. I've been in correspondence with him, helping him get to a safe house. We do advocacy. I just briefed Congress. That's through mikearnold.org, and you can go there and you can read more about it. And there's a donate button. That's how we survive.
Excellent. Again, the book is Epicenter by Mike Arnold, and you can find out more information and also help him support his work at mikearnold.org. Mike, this has been a real honor. I hope we can do it again sometime. You can give us an update.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for joining us this week. Really appreciate it. If you would, please like this video and subscribe to the Bruce Collins Show channel. That helps us a lot with the algorithm so we can spread this show over many eyeballs. Also, I have another channel if you're interested. It's Bruce Collins Reacts and Stuff, where I look at some of the mysterious, interesting videos out on YouTube and I react to them. I think you'll like that too. In the meantime, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
A wrap, falafelites. This has been a Bad Yodeler production. Good night.